How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here, your Ginger Jody Geek. Welcome back to the channel for a bit of an impromptu Saturday Night Live. We weren't sure if we were going to do one tonight, and then we pulled it together kind of last minute. But as ever, I am joined by some of YouTube's finest. We've got Luke from Hydra Collectibles. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. Always happy to be here.
Good stuff.
Love my Saturday nights.
Good stuff. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. And we have got our favorite American, Efren from Passpoint Comics. How are you?
¿Qué está pasando, familia de comic books?
Couldn't agree more, Efren. Couldn't agree more. Don't know what you said, but yes,
Same thing I say in English.
Bonjour to you too.
Yeah. I love as soon as I say Efren, you do like a take of breath. You go, get ready for you. I love it. I love it. And we have got good old James T. How are you, James?
Hola! What's up?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Very good. Are you well? Are you
I'm
well?
excellent. I'm very well.
Good. Ages since I've seen you, James.
I know,
Ages.
right? Yeah, I miss you.
Yeah. So we've got lots to cover tonight. We've got a bit of news, a bit of comic news. We've got the usual roundup of what we've been reading, what movies we've seen, and all that kind of jazz. And then we're going to focus a little bit on remarks and sketch covers and things like that a little bit later on, because there's been some interesting stuff of late with those, so I want to talk to them about them a little bit. Before we start, we've got a few people in the chat already. We've got Chris Bell. Nice to see you, Chris. I hope you are well. We've got Kenneth. Nice to see you, Kenneth. Hope you are well, my friend. We've got Jack. Always nice to see you, Jack. And we've got Canadian Survivalist. Thank you very much for joining, guys. Okay, let's crack on and cover some news. Look at that. Christ almighty, it hurts my eyes. We're going to talk about that cack later on. Yeah, well, there will be a giveaway at some point tonight, but I've changed when we're going to do it, so it'll be a surprise. Let's start with some news, and I wanted to talk about this. So, Efren, you're a big Daredevil fan, so I'll come to you first about this. But this is the news that Elektra is going to be getting another limited mini-series. It's called Elektra, the Woman Without Fear, where she's going to Madripoor. Is that how you pronounce it?
Madripoor.
Madripoor, yeah. And she's going to be facing off against good old Crossbones. Now, I've not really been reading much of her current appearances. Is this something that's exciting you, Efren? Is this something you'll be reading?
It is. I read her first limited series too, and I love the character. I mean, along with Matt Murdock, Elektra. I just think it's a continuation of Daredevil lore, so to speak. I thought, she's the perfect person to play Daredevil since they're so, united, her and Matt, So I've been loving the series and I love her costume. So I'm all thumbs, big thumbs up from me.
Yeah. I like her costume. I have to say, I do like her costume. And Crossbones, I think, is a criminally underused character. I do like him. James, what about you? Is this something that you might read? Or?
I've not read any of the Elektra as Daredevil run. This is the Charles Soule one? It's kind of later on in that, isn't it?
I think she's currently Daredevil in the books. So when Matt, Efren, correct us if I'm wrong, but when Daredevil went to when Matt Murdock went to prison, she took over as Daredevil, and they've kind of kept her around alongside Daredevil ever since.
So there's two Daredevils now.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay, right. Okay.
Basically, that's it.
Yeah. I started reading that run. I dropped it. I don't know why. I have to go back. I was loving it as well. So yeah, I'd be very interested. I think that's a really cool kind of twist on it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the character of Elektra, and I think, as you know, Jack's saying in the comments here, I think she's brilliant as Daredevil, and she's more deadly than Matt Murdock because she's always had that kind of edge to her, hasn't she? Where she's more than willing to cross the line, as it were. Luke, are you a fan of the character?
I am, yeah. I really like the character of Elektra. Like what Efren said, it kind of goes hand in hand with the Daredevil mythology and the story arcs. But then again, like James, I haven't read modern Daredevil for a really long time. I remember really enjoying it, and much the same, I just dropped out. I can't even remember why that was. I don't know if it was during COVID times when shops were shut, or I can't remember what happened. But either way, I haven't read a Daredevil book in a really long time.
You're missing out. You're missing out. So, particularly during the kind of the Punisher run, the storyline with Daredevil, you didn't have to read both, but they worked very well together. Matt was kind of, was he the in charge of the? What's the opposite to the Foot Clan?
It was the fist and the hand.
Yeah, the hand. Yeah, the hand. I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the last time I was reading Daredevil was during the King in Black stuff. Like that's way back with the whole Venom things and like the crossovers and all that lot. So I think she was Daredevil back then too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm saying the foot and the hand. That's right, isn't it?
Foot is Ninja Turtles.
Foot Clan's Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So what's I get confused with the different ninja clad people. So which one's the one that Punisher became the boss?
That was
of?
part of the hand.
The hand.
Yeah.
That was the hand. Okay, right. Gets confusing, doesn't it, with all your different ninjas and funny costumes. But yeah, well worth a read. And I think, the current Daredevil run is actually pretty interesting as well, Luke. It is worth picking up. Jack's saying you're missing out, Luke. Honestly, the last 2 runs were phenomenal. I'd agree with that. And the hand in the fist. That's it. Hand in the fist. Yeah. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. James, I don't know if you know about this. So this is the Spiderwick Chronicles. This is a series that they've actually, they had completed the full first season. Disney had commissioned it and paid for it. And then they binned it. They shelved it. And decided they weren't good.
What?
So Disney binned it. And then Roku, who I might have heard of. I don't know who Roku are.
Is that not a free streaming app or something, isn't it?
I don't know. Have you heard of that one, Efren? Is that an American app?
Yeah, Roku. They have Roku. It's like an app where you can download other apps on there too. It's like a Roku channel. They do a lot of sports on there too. So I guess they're just becoming more and more popular here. But yeah, Roku is well known here in the States.
Well, they've picked it up from Disney. And it comes out next week. I think it's dropping the entire series.
Yeah,
next week.
there was remember I said Ephraim was at WonderCon and Christian Slater was there. It was for a panel for this.
That's right.
Okay.
So I was aware that he was in this and stuff. I'm pretty sure he's like the lead villain of it. Like he's the Voldemort of those books or something. So I'm very fascinated about that. I've never watched they only did one movie, didn't they, back in the day?
They did one movie and it was starring the guy we were talking about last night who did Bates Motel in the
Freddie Highmore.
Is that what he's called? He's also in Willy Wonka.
Yeah, Freddie Highmore. Freddie Highmore? Yeah.
So he plays the main character, or played the main character in the movie. This is not a franchise I'm particularly familiar with. I think I did watch the first movie, but it's not a one that ever really kind of got its claws into us. Luke, is it one you're aware of?
Only that first movie. This happened quite a lot, didn't it, with the whole Harry Potter era, where we then had the Spiderwick Chronicles, we had Percy Jackson, and everything else. It seems like all of this stuff is making a comeback now. It's all getting rebooted, and luckily this has stuck around because unfortunately Disney are binning an awful lot recently.
Yeah. Does anybody know what it's actually about then? Efren, are you familiar with the problem?
You said it was on Disney Plus first?
No, it was made by Disney and then they binned it.
Oh.
And they sold it to Roku.
I mean, when Christian Slater is pure gold, like, why would you? How dare you, Disney?
What is he? But what's he been in lately? What's
Mr. Robot? He won loads of Emmys for it.
Oh, I didn't see.
He's Mr. Robot in it.
Yeah.
So Roku is free here in the United States. I wonder if they're going to charge for this, because the Roku channel, anybody can get it, James, quick question. Christian or Pedro? Who's your favorite?
Oh, Pedro, obviously. Now Christian would be third place after Jensen Ackles, I think.
Okay.
So,
wow, third.
Jensen or Pedro?
Oh, Pedro, all the way. I would never have said that to you 3 years until I went to see Wonder Woman and I came out with Wonder Woman 2 and said I think Pedro's my favorite actor now.
Okay, Pedro or your favorite beer?
Oh, Pedro.
Yeah.
I'd give up any single food or drink item for life just to meet Pedro Pascal. So
okay.
Yeah.
Jackson Christian Slater's up there for him as well.
Talk hard, still the air.
A lot of Christian Slater love, yeah.
And great actor.
I didn't realize until I've just been listening to his talk there, looking at the branches on the tree. I don't know why, but I never realized it said look closer.
Oh,
yeah,
you're right.
Cool. Yeah. I didn't clock that.
Gotta check out this series.
Yeah, interesting one. I feel like even Mum or Pedro would be Pedro. Yeah.
I'd have to have a think, to be honest. Yeah. Well, do I get to have Pedro as my mom? Because then I wouldn't for one interaction, but if I get to keep Pedro for life.
All right, one more for you, James. Peter or Pedro?
Oh, come on. That's it. How dare you, James?
I'd have to discuss doing a horror channel with Pedro now. I don't know what our dynamic on camera would be. So we'll have to see about that.
Nice to know I'm special, James. Thanks for
Of course you are.
Right.
The fact that I'm even
No.
considering it, Peter, should be a compliment.
It should have just been an instant lie. You should have just
know.
said Peter all the way.
Exactly.
I'm too
What do
honest.
you, whoa,
Luke.
what do you mean instant lie? What do you mean?
Yeah,
instant
I would never tell fibs.
Let's move on. Let's move on. This is quite exciting. This is the 2099 next kind of event series, and we're getting a whole host of books attached to it. This is Revisiting Annihilation. Do you guys read Annihilation?
I did.
Yeah, I think probably one of the best kind of crossover series that Marvel did. The original run was just absolutely amazing. So now they're bringing Annihilation to the 2099 universe. You've got Nova in there. You've got Silver Surfer. You've got Red Hulk, which is the last image there, which is an interesting one. And
Yeah.
you've got Dracula. And the one that I haven't got on screen is there's also a Star-Lord book as well, as part of this run.
I thought that
Ow.
was Mr. Sinister. I didn't think that was Dracula.
It's an interesting image, isn't it? And I think the robot things below him look interesting as well. So I don't know if it's going to tie into Ultron in some way or something like that. I think this is interesting. I really enjoyed the original Annihilation. I'm interested in the Nova book out of all of those. I think it says he's the last Nova. So yeah, that it's piqued my interest. Whether it'll be enough to get us to jump into 2099 universe, I don't know. What do you guys think of this? Luke, we'll start with you. Is this of any interest to you?
Yeah, I've always been torn with the 2099 stuff. Like, it's never been something that's captivated me for very long. It's always something that looks great at first hand, but then I've never stuck with it. So that's the bit that's putting me off, is the 2099 aspect.
Yeah.
Because Annihilation was great, like you said.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the same creative team. Who did Annihilation originally? Can anyone remember? I can't remember who it was.
He went on to do the Guardians. Not Mark Bagley, is it?
He's not. I can't
No.
remember.
Was he the artist?
I'll look
It's
it
annoying
up.
me now because I was reading it not too long ago, and I remember I was referring to it as this run.
Any of these you'd be interested in picking up, James?
I love the opposite to Luke. I love the 2099 aesthetic, or seeing different versions of characters that we haven't seen before within that universe. You know, so yeah, I'm definitely interested. I really enjoyed Annihilation as well. But Annihilation, like, the kind of thing about it was that it introduced like the new Guardians of the Galaxy. So like, this obviously isn't going to have anything that kind of impactful within it. You know,
It's interesting, but because back then, personally, everybody takes something different, I suppose. But the introduction or the reintroduction of the Guardians, a different setup team or whatever, it wasn't the big point for me for Annihilation. For me, it was Quasar and Nova and those characters were the important ones. But you're right, that's very much what James Gunn based his version of the Guardians on, isn't it? That kind of group. Efren, how about you?
I looked it up. Annihilation is a story by Keith Giffen.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
back in.
do you see who the artist is?
Say that again.
Who the artist is?
Well, the art says here is Andrea DeVito for this cover one.
I swore Annihilation and the Guardians 2008 one was the same writer.
Yeah, it looks like it's Keith Giffen and art is by Andrea DeVito.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, some of them. So
I mean, Dracula 29 is an interesting one, isn't it? Efren, which of these would you be interested in reading?
I know 2099 wasn't the greatest series, but I do have fond memories of that. I enjoyed reading it when they were saying they're coming out with a new Spider-Man, a new X-Men. I was into it back then. I know a lot of the storylines weren't that good, but they keep on bringing it back. So obviously somebody must like it. Off of all of these, I'm curious to see if it's Rich Rider as Nova or somebody else. I'm curious to see that. And Silver Surfer looks way different. I'm not sure if it's the same one, Norman Rad or what, but Mephisto looks the same. The Silver Surfer sure has changed.
Silver Surfer, I wasn't sure if that was going to be kind of the Phoenix Force in his
I was just about to say that. It looks like he has the Phoenix Force there.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I'm gonna read them all. So
Red Hulk's a weird one as well. I can't see
yeah,
that.
I wonder who that is.
Dracula's cool though because it's like the same character. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's just him further
Yeah, so
along.
that's the
So
Marvel
I enjoyed
Universe
that.
version of
Yeah,
Dracula,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, which is he's a really cool character. There's a very good run of I can't remember the name of the books, but it was about kind of the British superhero teams and they were fighting Dracula at one point. He was on the moon and things like that. It was
Yeah.
that was an interesting
You
series.
s- the that Dracula one, the character on the bottom left, I know it's probably not, but it looks like Lilandra, her hair from the X-Men.
Yeah,
The Empress.
yeah, you're right.
There's
a cool in the current Blade run. They have a team up, Blade and Dracula team up issue.
Right.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Just going to quickly jump to the chat, guys. Fuzzy is saying Pedro for life isn't a sentence he's ever uttered.
Well, it's never too late, Fuzz.
Most people haven't, Fuzzy. Most people haven't. Most 2099 is Tosh, let's be honest. Yeah. I can't say I enjoyed a lot of it, mind. Spider-Man 2099 was okay. And I quite liked Avengers Next. That was quite interesting. I've recently gone back and read Annihilation. What a cracking mini-series and the tie-ins as well. Yeah, absolutely, Jack. It's a great little series of books. And some of the cover artworks by Delotto, the Silver Surfer run, I think. It's absolutely amazing. I've tried umpteen times to like 2099. I still don't. And Fuzzy agrees with Chris. Jack is saying Wraith is an awesome character. Yeah, I've picked his first appearance up recently. He was linked to the whole King in Black side of things, wasn't he? But I don't know if he's still really around at the moment. And Luke is saying, I wonder what will happen when we actually reach 2099.
Because it's not even the future of the main universe anymore. It's just a separate sci-fi reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, yeah, because when you look at that, we already know we've seen Silver Surfer in the future, haven't we? In multiple stories, he's in all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting one. Okay, next. Legion. Any of you guys watched the Legion show when it was out a while ago?
First few episodes, I love Dan Stevens. I'm a big fan. So
yeah. So this chap is gone on record, as most of the actors would, I suppose, and said that he'd be really interested in returning to this series. He feels that he didn't get to finish his arc. He wants to do more in this universe. I think I watched the full season and it confused me. Is this something that you guys would want to see? Is it of interest to you or not?
I'd be more interested in seeing him as another character, to be honest. Like I feel like he's a bit wasted on as even being the main character on a TV show. So yeah, I'm not fussed. I heard that show's amazing though. Like I remember the reviews at the time.
See,
Like
I
I watched the
don't know
first
if it is
couple, enjoyed
amazing.
it, but no.
I mean, I watched it and it was just probably too clever for us. I didn't understand what was
Well,
happening.
I remember I get like 10 out of 10 across. Like every episode was coming out and it was 10 out of 10. Like yeah.
Efren, did you see it?
Was this 2 seasons? I think because I remember watching
It was
the first
two or three. Yeah.
I remember watching the first season, and I agree with Peter. Something was like way over my head. I just didn't quite understand. I know it's X-Men related, it's Legion, but it was just too much for me. So I think I watched season 1 and I just stopped after that. I go, this is too. I was overthinking this series, on TV. Yeah. Sometimes when you read a book, when they put too much into it, like way over your head, this is what I felt about this show.
Yeah, I can't say it hit the mark for me. Luke, is this the one you watched?
No, never watched it, never seen it. But in the comments there, Jack has mentioned The Gifted, which I did watch.
I can't remember that one. Was that X-Men linked or was that just
Yeah, it was 2 seasons of it.
I can't remember that one.
Yeah,
there was a lot of these shows.
The Fox
kicking
TV
around.
show,
Yeah.
Okay.
Same time they came out.
I remember Mutant X. Did anybody watch Mutant X?
No.
So that was when they couldn't use the name X-Men, so they used Mutant X instead, and it was hard work. It was
just all the Z-listers, was it?
Well, no, I don't think there was anybody recognizable in it from memory. They weren't called mutants. It was something. It was weird. Let us know in the comments if anybody remembers Mutant X. I can't really even remember the background.
That's different to Generation X, isn't it?
Yeah. But
okay.
the lead.
That was also an
character-
X-Men show called Generation X.
Yeah, I don't think it lasted long. Was it a one-off movie or something, Generation X?
Something like that.
But Mutant X, the kind of the Professor X version character, was the guy who played Lex Luthor in Lois and Clark. Do you remember the Dean Cain series?
Gosh.
Yeah. long time. It was a weird series, weird. Fuzzy, we do this every week. Same actor. Some actors think they'll be interested in doing some project or other. Absolutely, Fuzzy. Absolutely, mate. It's what's in the news. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm that interested in him doing anything, to be honest. I think he's a good actor, but I'm certainly not interested in him coming back to see this series. It was too confusing.
He should have been Iron Fist. He'd have been a great Iron Fist.
Yeah.
It'd have been amazing.
Interesting. Yeah.
Fist Dan Stevens,
Bootleg X-Men, brilliant. Let's make it happen with Magneto, Vogue, and Iclops. Yeah, we could do that. We could all star in them. We could star in them, Chris. Spider-Man Reign #2 We had some of the cover artwork put out for this. Now it's going to be featuring Black Cat apparently and Miles Morales, and there's that teaser cover there of Miles Morales, rather beefed up, I have to say, with what I'm assuming is an afro poking through his.
I didn't even know this is happening.
Yeah. This is. I think this is going to be great. I love Spider-Man Reign.
Yeah.
It gets kind of billed as the most controversial Spider-Man story ever. I don't think it was that controversial. I mean,
It's for adults though. It's like a very. It's not a thing for kids or young ones to read. You know, like.
but what's controversial about it? I mean,
This
he
is the one
kills Mary
where-
Jane, doesn't he? By
Well,
mistake.
he with his radioactive spunk,
Spider
you know. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's the headline that people just go, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why it's like stupid or no good." But I agree with you, Peter. I think it's one of the best miniseries that we had for Spider-Man. It's more mature content.
Yeah, I love it. I'm looking at that first cover there, and it says, it's going to be black cats in it. So, is that what's coming out of his mouth, or is that a beard? What's going on there?
I was wondering the same
I
thing.
assumed it
What
was a
is that?
beard, but it's very weird looking beard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a bit odd. The rest of the image is really, really interesting and cool looking, but
Looks like Spawn, doesn't it?
yeah, it's odd. In the Miles Morales image, beefed up Miles, but it looks pretty interesting. I'll definitely be giving this a read. Have you guys all read Reign then? So James, you've read it, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Efren, have you read it?
I don't believe so, but I will read it before this one comes out. You guys are talking about it's so good, so I'm going to give it a shot. I just don't think I've read it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only, is it 4 issues, Luke?
I think it's 5, isn't it? 5
5
issues?
issues.
I think so.
But yeah, good little series to read. Good little series to read. I'd recommend that one. And I am looking forward to this coming out. I think this will be pretty cool. Helldivers 2. We've talked about this on some of the other shows. But James, do you want to talk to a little bit about Helldivers and why I'm currently quite excited by it?
Yeah, so we've talked about this on a couple of the toy show. So like it's the hot new game at the moment. So it's a live service. Effectively Starship Troopers meets Terminator meets Alien kind of thing, but it's very like pro patriotism, nationalism kind of parody thing. But like, so you're running around shooting kind of bugs or kind of these like, robots and stuff like that. But like I think the really amazing thing about it that you just don't see games do that often, like the community that's built around this, like people are so into it. And because it's just a co-op game, there's no like fighting other people in it. People are just very nice to each other in it. You can like I've had it where you can hug other people, and I just give people hugs whenever like I finish like to say goodbye, and there we are in the picture up on the top there. The two of us were playing last night, gave each other a little hug. But like it's really cool. There's so much like variety to it. There's so many different like you have these things called stratagems, which are kind of like air support and stuff like that you use, and you can like drop like mini nukes. Yeah. And stuff like that, or have a little robot come around with you to shoot enemies. It's very cool. It's just incredibly fun, I think.
Yeah. And the developers are constantly tweaking it and adding stuff to it, aren't they? Which is quite good.
So there's like they were inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. So they have a game master. His name's Joel, and effectively he decides what the kind of meta narrative is. So like I was only watching a thing this morning. So back when the game started, there was this map called Malavon Creek. It was a planet, and it was like considered like one of the best because it's sort of like it looks a bit like Vietnam, one of the best like maps in the game. And it was a bug planet, and then the robots invaded it, and it was so hard. Like people were like it was so difficult. People kept losing, and they lost the planet. And now it's like almost got this mythical status as like Malevolent Creek, the planet we lost. Like the massacre at Malevolent Creek and stuff. So cool. Like I just love that. Like that's like a story that's happened dynamically in the real world with the game. So I've never really seen anything like this like from a game, and so we've been playing. I played with Simon the other night. We had a few games last night. Just I can see myself playing this for months now. Like it's so much fun.
So I mean, as most people in the chat know, that I've got a PlayStation at Christmas time and I've barely touched it. I've tantalizingly titillated it a little bit, but I've not had much to do with it. And then I promised James and Simon that I would have a little blast on this and see what I thought. I'm absolutely addicted to this. I've played it a fair bit today. It's a great game. It's a great co-op game. I'm loving it, loving it. If there is anybody out there who's got Helldivers 2 and wants to join, we've set up a little kind of a Instagram group chat thing for it. Me, Simon, James, and James Mack from MJ Comics. If you want to join that, drop us a line and we'll link in so we can all co-op and jump on games together and stuff like that.
It's just like little things, like we were playing I think our first game, and you made a crack at like threatened to shoot me, so I shot you dead, and I didn't realize that the ship had landed and the timer to leave had set, so I threw the thing down to respawn you, and you just missed by like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
James.
I felt really bad. I felt really bad.
Go on the game playing with a friend and you killed us. It was nice.
Yeah, it's my bad.
So yeah, recommend Helldivers, guys. Worth checking that one out. Keanu is now confirmed to be playing Shadow. I know most people don't give a toss about the Sonic the Hedgehog movies and things like that, but I love a bit of Keanu. So I'm not familiar with the character of Shadow. I have to be honest. I think
he's awesome
from the games from later.
Yeah, he's a dark. He has his own game and everything. Like I remember playing. It was the edgy one. It was like he had guns and stuff. Like it was a cool, like third-person shooter on PS2. I remember a while back there was rumors that was Hayden Christensen was going to play him. Yeah. So I love Keanu Reeves, obviously. Like I love both of those guys probably equally. But like I was kind of like, I would have liked Hayden to get something else, you know.
Efren, have you seen the Sonic movies? Is that something that you've watched?
Never seen them, not even one. You know, that's the only video game that I ever played and I ever finished when it first came out, the original Sonic. I was determined to finish that game, and after that, I retired from playing video games. I think,
We'll have to get Efren on Helldivers. Can you imagine? That would be cool. Be good for now.
How do you move forward?
I don't have a game. I don't have a PlayStation or anything.
I mean, Peter last night didn't know what the start button was. I said, go to the main menu, and you're like, "What? Which one?" What?
You've got to educate people.
The start button.
Us older gentlemen take a bit of time to learn, and just raising your voice and shouting it louder doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
start
the
button.
Start
the start
button.
I don't know what button it is, James. The start button. You know what I mean? It doesn't help. Luke,
that's not what it sounds like, is it?
Luke, yeah. Luke, are you excited about this? Your kids into the Sonic movies?
Yeah, so my kids have watched the 2 previous Sonic movies. I've only actually sat down and watched the first one properly, and I did really enjoy it. I thought Jim Carrey was amazing as Dr. Robotnik. Yeah. For me personally, like the first movie, I kind of get it being set in like our world, but I would much rather them now go back to their world and have all these characters in their natural environment, in their natural setting. I know that's probably going to cost more and everything else, and then you lose the human interaction, the human actors. But I love the Sonic and Sega franchise, so I want to see more of that world as opposed to just keep bringing characters into our world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you said that when we talked about it the last time. And I think that would be interesting. I think it's good. We saw a bit of that in the last film, didn't we, with Robotnik in different kind of universes and things. And it would be interesting to explore that side of things. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, guys, little touch on some of the stuff we've been reading at the moment. I don't know if you guys have been reading much, but I've been banging on about this book for a little while. The Roxxon Presents The Mighty Thor. This was everything I needed it to be. It was just stupid and fun, and it just made us giggle and laugh all the way through. So it's absolutely written like a giant kind of industry oil conglomerate has written this book for you. So it's all product placement all the way through. The baddies are basically hippies who are trying to save the planet and don't realise that climate control isn't real and things like that, and there's no such thing as that kind of stuff. Thor's vehicle is basically the Tesla. What do you call the Tesla thing that he's the armored thing, isn't it? The Tesla truck.
I was just reading about today. They got recalled for a pedal broken or something.
So there's a great bit where he's trying to get into his Tesla truck, and he's showing you how easy it is now that we don't have to worry about keys, and all he has to do is swipe this on his phone, which then downloads a keychain. He's got to put his 15-digit number in, and then that authorizes something else. And then, say, we don't need keys anymore. And it's just stupid stuff like that all the way through. I loved it. I absolutely love it. It breaks halfway through the book, and you get the kind of the real Marvel universe, and you get the Minotaur explaining a little bit about what he's doing, how he's infecting the public into kind of disbelief and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, well worth a read. Well worth a read. Fuzzy's saying he's picked this one up today. He's looking forward to reading it. Let us know what you think, Fuzzy. It's definitely just a silly, tongue-in-cheek book, but like I say, I quite enjoyed it. What about the rest of you guys? You've been reading anything interesting lately?
So last time we all spoke, I think it might have been last Saturday, everyone was talking about Beneath the Trees and saying how it felt like a filler issue, etc. Well, I finally read it today.
I didn't think it was a filler issue.
I don't think it's a filler issue either. So that's what I wanted to throw out there. So I managed to read it today. It just came through the post, so a little bit later than everyone else. Man, I love this series. And I'm gutted thinking that the next issue is the last one. But then at the same time, I kind of like that it could be, and that it could just be this small little special thing and not get tarnished by too much.
Yeah, so I've been talking to the writer of that, and he's not given anything away. So I've asked him a few times if we're going to get more in this universe and stuff, and he's not given anything away. Sadly, Patrick, he's a lovely guy. But yeah, it's an amazing little series. I don't know. I'm a bit like you, Luke. I have to say, I'm kind of thinking I would probably be happy if it just ties a nice little knot in it. I think it depends what the reveal in the last issue is. If the reveal is kind of what I'm thinking it is, same as you, then yeah, it should just end there, I think, because it's hard to kind of go forward with that. Efren, you're reading this series as well, aren't you?
Yeah. I haven't read the last issue yet, though, but it was a good series. I mean, I really have enjoyed it.
Yeah. Chris is saying builder issue. Chris, I love that term. That's because I get myself a little bit irritated when people say it's a filler. But I think builder issue is exactly what it is. It moves the plot on, gives you kind of narrative and more explanation. So I think that's a great term to use for it. James, you've not read it, have you?
No, I'm waiting for the last issues because I can't be fucked with waiting a month between issues. I'm not patient.
Youth of today, no bloody patience.
Yeah.
It'll be a great one to read in the trade paperback.
Yeah.
It'll be a great one to read in the trade paperback. Anybody else been reading anything you want to mention?
I've been reading Wonder Woman, and it's been quite good. There was like 4 or 5 issues before the most recent one, an Amazonian. There was a bar fight, and I think she killed a couple characters. And now, basically, the United States is against all Amazonians, and they're trying to, kick them out. And the only one that's standing in the way right now is Wonder Woman. So I've been enjoying it. And I just like the overall character of Wonder Woman. It was like a filler issue. There's one issue with Superman and Wonder Woman, and they were talking about, if she needed help. She says, "No, I don't want your help in this. This is my problem," stuff like that. But then they were trying to buy a present for Batman, and they were just talking throughout the whole issue. But I found it it was a good issue because you got to know a little bit more about the characters. And I always thought that Wonder Woman, now she's like a go-between Superman and Batman. She doesn't feel as, Superman is so optimistic all the time, and Batman is the opposite. She's kind of in between the both of them. So that's why I think these 3 characters really click. And there's one more book, Peter. One thing about reading books, some people may like it and some people may hate it. I like the current Wolverine run. You said it was pure cack, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Which one?
I love. Can you say that again slower?
No, I'm not. But I liked it. I mean, there's just Sabretooth going after him again, killing a bunch of people, So I enjoyed it, but I know you didn't like it that much.
I think it just didn't do it for me, Efren. It didn't do it for me. I think I'm X-Men out. I'm kind of bored with them now. I need the reboot to relight my fire, as it were. James, what about you? You been reading anything?
No, nothing. I talked about the Scooby-Doo thing last week, didn't I? So that's the last thing I read. So when's the Beneath the Trees finish?
Next issue. Next issue.
When's that out?
So like this month. I don't know what date, but it's this month when it comes out.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be the next thing. I'll sit down and just blast through the entire thing, I think. So.
Yeah. And then you need to read something epic. And then you need to read Kill Your Darlings, because that is just amazing as well. That finished this week. It's superb. Fuzzy saying the new Dick Tracy arrived today. I didn't get that one, Fuzzy. And let us know if it's good, if I should pick it up. Because it's not out yet. That's a little score for you then. That's good. Let us know what you think of it, mate. Yeah, Efren, you'll be proud of Fuzzy. I sent him the first Philadelphia trade to have a little read.
Nice.
Very good.
And he's loved it. So that's
never heard of it.
John Adams.
Yeah, Fuzzy, you'll have to let Efren know what it's all about because he's not read that one.
Never read it.
Yeah. Jack, I'm the same, Peter. I need the new one to get me back in. Yeah, the X-Men's just kind of... I tried reading some of this week's issues that came out, thinking the end of the kind of the Krakoa thing would build to something exciting, and I can't get my head around it. Prof X is a real bad guy in it now. I just don't... Yeah, it's not doing it for us. Okay, chaps, what have we been watching recently? Be interested to know what you guys have seen lately. First, you saying my pal Rodney, best buds now, best buds. I've been watching a few bits and bobs. Recent X-Men, I know, Efren, you're not up to speed with it. This series in general, for me, I know people are saying it's superb and stuff like that. It's incredibly hit-y-missy. I have episodes that I love and really do enjoy, and then I have episodes that just bore us to tears almost. And this issue, with good old Prof X and Landra and all that kind of stuff, and then split with a bit of Storm stuff, was okay, but it certainly didn't blow us away. Like
it was a
last issue.
builder episode, Peter.
Yeah,
a builder
yeah.
episode.
Yeah, but it was a boring builder episode.
Did we know from the end of the original series that Professor X was whisked away to another...
Can't remember.
Does anyone know that?
Can't
Anyone in
even
the comments that
remember
knows
the end of
that?
the series, to be honest.
Because if that was supposed to be... Because for me, that was like, oh, he's actually alive. And if that's like for everybody, that, oh, he's actually alive, I feel like they didn't really make much of a show of it, you know? Like it was sort of...
I think
here he
that's
is,
my
you know?
point, James. The episode for me felt quite flat.
There was no fanfare with it or anything.
Have
It
you?
was
I
just
think
like-
you've seen this episode, then, James.
I watched the first bit with Professor X, and then I got a little bit into the Storm one, and I had to stop pause, so I haven't gone to finish the episode yet. But yeah, it's like I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely elevated from like your usual Marvel animated series. You know, I think there's something special about it. I feel.
yeah. I do like the way that Wolverine's not the focus of every episode. Do you know what I mean? Like
He's barely in it so
He's
far.
barely
It's
in
the
it,
X-Men
so
show, do you know? Like, yeah.
we've had a lot of focus on Storm, which was good. But yeah,
Cyclops,
it was
great. Like, I want more of him, so, yeah.
Luke, you're not up to speed yet?
No, not fully. I am catching up. I watched because obviously since giving up Disney Plus and then coming back to it, I'd only watched the first 2 episodes. Now I'm on like episode 4 or 5.
Okay.
So I'm getting there.
What are you thinking of it so far, then?
Yeah, it's good. Like a lot of you guys said last time, it's definitely a show for us people who grew up with the old one. Like I wouldn't have my kids sitting there and watching this one, whereas I would for the old one. So it is tailor made for us older fans, which again isn't a bad thing, but at the same time I'm kind of sad about that also, because it just take away a few of the swear words and stuff like that every now and then, and you could have it as a kids show still.
Is there swear words in it?
There's been a couple of times where they've thrown in the odd swear word here and there. I've been caught off by
I
it.
feel like that would have stood out to me. I don't remember any.
Yeah, I
what
think
do you
Wolverine. I think Wolverine says a couple of them. I'm trying to think what he said now. I'll find out.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Passed me by that one.
Yeah.
Chris Bell's just saying there, I haven't watched this week's yet. I did watch Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and most of Frozen Empire, which has been decent but not as well paced as Afterlife. Fair dues.
Frozen
Let us know
Empire
what you
is
think
still
of the
the
latest
best
episode of X-Men, Chris,
Ghostbusters
because
movie.
I do think I find it up and down, I have to say. Fuzzy, I can't wait till this X-Men cartoon is over. I'm over it. It doesn't hold my attention for a full episode. One episode out of them all has really, really blown me away, which was the Genosha one. The
I think the
of
Madeline
them-
Pryor episode's pretty great.
Yeah,
you know?
sorry, you're right, James. The Madeline
Yeah,
Pryor
with 2
episode.
back-to-back that were awesome.
Yeah, so those 2 were very good. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I just wanted to mention this very briefly. Let us know in the comments if you've seen this or if you guys have seen it. This is Southpaw.
Yep.
Thomas, my son, is in a boxing mood at the moment, so he got this from Chex or somewhere, and we watched it. First time I've even heard of this movie. I'd never seen it before. I'd never heard of it before. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought this was great. Basically, it's your typical kind of boxing story, but I thought really, really well done. When I saw 50 Cent was in it, I have to say my heart sank a little bit, and I thought, can it be doing with rappers pretend they can act and stuff? But actually, he was fine in it. And Jake, I can't pronounce his surname, Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal. Oh, you echoed there. That was impressive. Jake Gyllenhaal is phenomenal in this. Absolutely phenomenal. Any of you guys seen this?
Yeah, I saw it back when it came out in cinemas. I remember, as not being a fan of sports movies, I really enjoyed it and thought it was a really strong one. So,
You seen it, Efren? You're a sporty man.
No, what is this? An
boxing-
update of Rocky Balboa? That's what it looks like to me, man.
It is, yeah. No, it is similar to Rocky, to be honest, Efren. It's kind of that kind of storyline of,
Yeah.
but he basically, I mean, the scary thing for this is how quickly he loses everything. Everything goes downhill incredibly rapidly, and I'm not going to spoil it because I know you're a sport fan, Efren. I really would recommend you check it out. It's very cool. Luke, not one you've seen?
Not one that I've seen, but I do enjoy a good boxing movie. Like always have done with the Rocky movies and Champ, and there's a lot of great
Champ.
boxing movies. Champ's such a good film, like so sad but so
Yes.
good.
Well, I would
Gosh.
really recommend you check this out because there's I'm not going to spoil it. There's a twist very near the start, which just totally took my breath away. I wasn't expecting it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's well worth watching. Fuzzy saying he loves Southpaw. Yeah, it's a great movie. Jack's agreeing, loved this movie as well. Fuzzy, 50 cents. Is that, have I got it wrong? Is it not 50 cents?
cent, singular, 50
50
cents.
cent. Oh, 50 cent. Loved, Jason saying he loved Southpaw. That's what he said. Can't see any. He's a picking us up, aren't you? I do apologise. Introducing a Raging Bull. Yeah, the fighter we've seen. Millions dollar baby. Baby, yeah.
Yeah.
The piss. But yeah, that's a very good one. That's Clint Eastwood, isn't it? $1 Million
Yes.
Baby.
Yeah.
There was an image of him. I think Fuzzy sent it to us. There was an image of
He
him.
looks terrible, doesn't he? Gone.
But he's 90 odd, man. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but like he always looked a lot younger than that. But I think it's caught up with him now.
And I feel like it's only 5 minutes since I was reading stuff about him directing a movie or something. So he was on set directing such and such, and then it seems like all of a sudden he looks his age. There was a good image of Dick Van Dyke a few weeks ago as well. But he again is looking his age. Bless them. Kenneth's still here. Thank you, Kenneth. Nice to see you, my friend. And we've got The Empire Strikes. The Warrior is really good. Is that
A Warrior with Tom Hardy, is it?
Oh, I'm thinking of something else. I'm
The
thinking
Warriors.
of Thingy Rooney,
Oh, the fighter.
the fighter.
No, not the fighter. The wrestler.
The wrestler.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. Chris is saying feels like last year's directing. Yeah, I agree, Chris. It feels like, I'm sure I saw something not so long ago about him out on set directing something, and then this just seems very, very, very quick. I thought it was a meme. I honestly couldn't tell it was Clint. Yeah, it's sad. And me and Fuzzy exchanged a few messages about this, saying it's funny, isn't it, with your Hollywood icons and things like that, where I don't know why, but I just expect them to look the same as they look in the films all the time.
Yeah.
So you forget that they are susceptible to the ravages of time in the same way as everybody else.
Well,
Now,
Morgan
not that I
Freeman
would-
was another one.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. He's aged quickly, but another example for me is, and I know the guy looks fucking amazing for his age, but seeing Tom Cruise images on set, he doesn't look like Tom Cruise in his face and stuff to me anymore. I don't know if he's having work done or what, but it's like, oh, he doesn't look like he was in Top Gun anymore. And of course he shouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
30-something years ago.
Yeah. But yeah. Empire saying, yeah, it's the Tom Hardy one. I don't think I've seen that. I struggle with Tom Hardy a little bit, I have to say.
I
with
love
some
Tom
of his
Hardy.
movies. Oh, we've got Andy. Nice to see you, Andy. I hope you're well, bud. So yeah, great film. If you've not seen Southpaw, really, really do recommend you check it out, because I'm not a massive boxing movie fan, but I really did enjoy this. I thought it was a good movie. Okay. Fallout has now concluded. I've watched the entire series with my son. Any of you guys watched it?
I've
No.
still not watched a single
Not yet.
episode of this. I'm dying to, because I've heard nothing but
shameful.
amazing things.
I haven't
Shameful
seen that
that you
either.
haven't seen it.
Okay,
Honestly.
we'll log off, Peter, and you can talk.
Log off. Honestly,
What
this,
did you think, Peter? What did you think?
I absolutely loved this. I have to say, it took us totally by surprise. It's your typical kind of adventure kind of thing, but it's got some real heart to it. The humor in it is really good. There's a couple of episodes where it goes really quite funny and a bit silly, but I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the ghoul character. He was amazing in it. Special effects are spot on. The creature effects are spot on. She, I don't know what her name is, but she is the lead actress, is absolutely amazing in it. Yeah, I loved everything about this series. Really, really cool. Can't believe you've not watched it, James T. I thought you'd be straight over this.
I just not had, like, if I get home from work, I have 45 minutes and the first episode's an hour 20, so like it's a commitment, you know. Like I know as soon as I watch it, I'll binge the entire thing. So I'll get around to it because I love. I'm not a fan of the games really. I remember getting Fallout 3 and playing it for like 10 hours and being like, this isn't for me. But I love the universe and I love the aesthetic of it and the story of it. So this is right up my alley, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you'll love it. Fuzzy, I've never played the games, mate, and I have to say you don't need to. You don't need it. The show tells you everything you need to know, episode by episode. It's perfect, really. It's a really.
This is for
series.
people who have not played the game. I think like it's set in the same universe, but like every story sort of the same. It's this vault dweller who journeys out, and they're going on their own journey, kind of, you know. But sales of the game are up like 20,000% or something like mad like that. Yeah, loads of people are playing Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is like listed number 1 on the PSN.
And it's interesting. So I've been off this week, as you know. So I've done this, which is a video game, and then I've finally caught up and watched the full series of Twisted Metal, and it's like two bookends. Twisted Metal is the opposite side, where it's just some of the worst acting from A-list Hollywood people that I've ever seen. Some horrendous special effects and things like that, but it's still watchable. It's just
it's going for that B-movie kind of vibe to it, I
bad.
think.
It is bad.
Have you ever seen the cutscenes in the game? They're like FMV, like people in green screens and stuff. Like it's funny.
Yeah. And then you've got this, which is great, guys. Before I move on to a few other things that I've been watching, have you guys been watching anything you want to?
I went to cinema last week. I went to see Monkey Man, which I absolutely loved. That was phenomenal. I think you said it last time, but like it's not just a John Wick kind of thing. It's like there's a really great story to it. Like a focus on like the first half of the movie effectively is build up. I like that for a good chunk of it. He's kind of on the back foot. He's not like the best fighter in the world necessarily. He's just very kind of desperate, and he's kind of, you know, a lot of it's kind of being chased and stuff. So that was cool. And then there's the last like 25 minutes is just incredible. Like it's just like some of the best stuff I've ever seen. Just the fight choreography is amazing. Yeah, brilliant. Like absolutely loved it. And Dev Patel, someone I've never really been a massive fan of. Like I never disliked him. I just never really attached to him. But like after this, I'm blown away. And
just
like,
don't think I was ever aware of him, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, he was in Slumdog Millionaire,
Skins,
and then
wasn't he?
he was in that.
He was in like Marigold Hotel movies. They've done 2 of those.
Was he in that? Oh, sorry, the Marigold Hotel. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And then he was in another one, like a Charles Dickens kind of thing that I remember seeing that I liked him in. But like after this, I'm like, yeah, this guy's an A-list director. You know, let's see him. Let's see what else he can do. You know, so that was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And then I went to see Civil War.
Oh, you've seen Civil War?
Yeah, I went to see Civil War. Harrowing. Like I think phenomenal. Like genuinely. It's the story. I remember Luke, you were saying about like I don't get what the story is. It effectively follows like these war journalists, and they have to journey from New York to Washington, and sort of like I think the sense of tension, and it's amazing. Like it's basically, imagine like, you know, if you ever see like what Iraq was like in the 70s, it's like that happened to America, where America is now like a war zone. And it's just like the tension of it. Like every time if they have to stop to get gas, they pull up near a gas station, they just see 3 guys outside with a gun. It's like, okay, what is this? What's happening now? Like, what's the situation we're about to walk into? And there's multiple of those throughout the movie. Cast was great. Kirsten Dunst, phenomenal, I thought. The guy, I can't remember the actor's name now, but the guy that played Pablo Escobar in Narcos is in it, and I'm just happy to see him in another thing, you know, like I've always loved him. So yeah, he was great as well. Yeah, just an incredible ride. I want to see an IMAX, and it was like really effective, I thought.
I really want to see it. It looks amazing. Efren, how do you feel about that movie? Because I would imagine that must make you guys quite uncomfortable.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard about it. You know, I've been reading about it, Kirsten Dunst, and I heard her husband was in the movie too, briefly.
Jesse Plemons, yeah.
But he didn't really want to play that scene because he said it was so controversial, you know, but he did it. But I think the other actor backed out, if I remember reading it right. I haven't read it. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I plan to, you know, but it looks interesting, you know, to say the least, you know.
What I appreciate about it is it's not like it doesn't necessarily take a side in American politics now. Like it's very the why of it all is sort of irrelevant. You know, we don't really know why. There's some kind of hints, I guess, but we don't know specifically why there is a war going on. What the actual like ideological divide between the different factions are or anything. You know, it's sometimes people are just shooting at people and they don't necessarily know if they're on the same side or not. You know, like there's that kind of element. Some people are just running amok. So like, yeah, it's a good one. Like I'd recommend everybody check it out.
Definitely one I want to see. Luke, I know you were interested in that one as well, but you've not managed to see it yet.
There's so many films that I want to see in cinema right now, and I can't even get out to see one of them at the moment. It's just so hectic.
Yeah, on my list to see. Did you guys get a chance to see this? This is
This is not what I was expecting, was it? Was what you were expecting?
So this is Transformers 1. This is the animated movie coming out soon, starring Chris Hemsworth, playing. Well, he's not playing. Well, he is playing Optimus Prime, but he's playing Pax Orion, who's Prime before he becomes Prime. Yeah, I'll hold my thoughts. Who's watched the trailer?
Yeah.
I did.
I haven't.
Luke, we'll start with you. What did you think of it, Luke?
This isn't for me. Like I'm not rushing to see this. If I happen across it on a streaming site or anything similar, maybe I'll give it a go. But it's not on the top of my list. Happy for anyone else who it is for. I know that there's a lot of YouTube reviewers out there making videos about it, and they're all got their thumbnails all happy and everything. But for me, it's just not my prime.
Yeah. And James?
So I have very little attachment to the Transformers IP. It's not what I was expecting. It leans so much into the humor, and the style of humor is very kind of like a TikTok generation sort of slapstick, kind of like very modern feeling like jokes. You know, like even a step further than like what you get in the MCU. So I thought that was kind of surprising. The tone of it, you know, I wasn't expecting it at all. But I think it's a different take. Like it feels a bit fresher than anything we've gotten from Transformers. And you know, there's an entire movie there. We're only seeing a little bit of a highlight reel. And the trailer, I think, was supposed to be more comedic. There's probably going to be like a heart to this movie, you know. So I'm interested. The voices I don't think suit it. And I know they're supposed to be like in young versions or something, but I'm just like, yeah, I don't feel like that's Megatron and that's Optimus. But I'm gonna go see it. I'm curious about it. I'm willing to give it a chance, you know.
I will go and see it. I'll start with that. So the lore, I mean, I'm not as in depth with the Transformers backstory, but the lore is basically Prime and Megatron were best friends back in the day, and then a bit like Professor X and Magneto, they both have a different kind of ideology, feeling of how the world should be saved, kind of thing, and they have a divide at some point, and Megatron becomes the leader of the Destructors, blah blah blah. This for me was Love and Thunder level stupidity humor, kind of slapstick kind of comedy, and I get what they're doing. I get that they'll use that Marvel method of silliness and jokes to get bums on seats, but this felt an awful lot of that crammed into the trailer. I really hope you're right, James. I hope that this is just, we'll sell some tickets by making it look funny for the kids, so we'll cram, you know, all the. If it's like that the entire movie through, it'll do my head in.
Yeah, 100%. I hope this is like 60% of like those type of jokes in it. You know, like what's the rest of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, the trailer ends with what looks like a massive battle kind of sequence and things like that, so it must have some weight to it, you know. It wasn't what I was expecting at all. Great gimmick, mind. They launched it from space, didn't they? The broadcast or something. They shot something up into bloody space to broadcast it, which was quite interesting. Did you not see that?
No, I didn't hear.
Yeah, there was a whole thing of it. I think was it an hour long of something going up into space, and they had the screens and the camera on the screen, and then it broadcasted.
That's cool.
For the launch, which was really quite interesting. Fuzzy, I completely forgot about this, mate. I do apologise. Fuzzy sent us some images. I hadn't seen this, but for Civil War, they did a whole host of AI poster art for it.
Like
So
purposely,
Yeah. So they used AI to produce a lot of the posters, but then when you were looking at the posters in a bit more detail, things were there like some of the cars had 3 doors and things like that, and there was signs coming out of trees and stuff. It was weird. It was really, really weird. Well, I'll put some of the pictures up for the next show because it was just some odd stuff. The gormless looks in the faces don't fill me with confidence. It's a bit harsh, Fuzzy. We're trying our best here. Do you know what I mean? God. But yeah, and Hector's here. Nice to see you, Hector. I can't get over their lips moving. Yeah, that always bothers me as well. Same in the Transformers movies when Prime drops his faceplate. I don't like that.
Are they not supposed to have lips?
No, it's the robots. They're not got mouths. Anyway, yeah, didn't fill us with confidence. But I will go and see it because it's Transformers. Oh, gonna briefly touch on this. Went to see this today. I know you guys haven't seen it yet. This is Abigail. This is a horror about a young ballerina, and the trailer is spectacular. The movie absolutely blew me away. Me and James are going to do a review of it, obviously, over on One Good Scare, but I absolutely encourage everybody to go and see this. We were talking before the show, and Luke made a good point. I'm not going to say what well, everybody probably knows what the twist is, but I'm not going to say what it is. But this is another case of where the trailer kind of spoils a big element of this movie. And what I would say, without spoiling it for people, is they play it completely straight for a good 30, 45 minutes that you don't know what's going on with this young girl. Do you know what I mean? So the movie sets it up like it's going to be a big turning point surprise. Well, it's not, because we've seen it played out in the trailer already, which is a bit disappointing. But overall, this movie is absolutely brilliant. It's got some real good twists in it. And I don't know who she is, but she is an amazing actress.
Matilda.
She's absolutely stunning. Yeah, I've not seen the
Yeah, she's an Irish actress.
Matilda.
Fantastic. Yeah.
She is take my breath away in this. She's phenomenal in it. So yeah, recommend you see. Efren, I'd love you to see this one because I know you're not a massive horror fan, but I think you'd like it.
I'm going to see it most likely, but I mean, I agree with Luke. It just, the preview to me ruined it. I go, okay, this looks pretty cool. Then we know what the character is. I was like, yeah, that takes away so much of the surprise. So I probably will enjoy it, but not as much, to be honest with you, because of that.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. I guess all I would say is there's still plenty in the movie, and there are a couple of twists and turns that leave surprises in there.
How's Dan Stevens in it? Is he good?
Who's he again?
The guy from he's in Godzilla X Kong. You had a slide about him earlier today. The guy
I
from
didn't
Legion.
even recognise that. That was
That's
him
him.
in it.
Yeah. I assume it was an Abigail interview that he said this thing in.
Okay, I didn't realize that too. Yeah. No, so he's very good. In
Good.
Very
Okay.
good.
Need
I'll tell you who the best person is. Who's the guy who played the Blob in Deadpool?
Oh, Kevin Durand.
Kevin Durand is amazing in it. I loved him. He plays a character called Peter, but he's absolutely superb. Jack, you can fit your head in my mug. It's just a little pint glass. What's the matter with you? Just a pint. Just vodka. Yeah, so really do recommend you check out Abigail. Have you guys been watching anything else before we move on? Anybody else seen anything recently?
I have been watching, and they haven't promoted it enough, but I really have enjoyed the series Bad Batch on Disney Plus.
Okay.
It's the last season. I really have enjoyed it. I mean, these characters first came out in Attack of the Clones, so they've been around for a while. I just like the interaction between all these. They're not clones per se, but they have their own. They're different from the regular clones. I really enjoyed it, and I finally finished Better Call Saul. If you ever watched Breaking Bad, I was like, oh, what a good series, but I just had never watched it before, And I didn't like the ending; it bummed me out, But I mean, overall, it was a great series.
I've never watched any of Breaking Bad.
Oh gosh,
it's a shame, but I think it's so much of a time commitment now. It's probably
No, I disagree. It's so good. Like you have to. It's
it's amazing, but like it will take you forever to
yeah, but James, just because you want him to do all your video editing, just give him some time to watch his shows.
Peter doesn't do any video editing on our channel, Luke. That's the thing. Yeah.
I'm busy with that stuff.
That's it. Yeah, spreading democracy and freedom.
Yeah, no, it is a one that I will go back to watch at some
What
point.
I like is that Breaking Bad was so culturally big and so culturally welcomed that it gave Better Call Saul room to breathe, and so they could take their time with it and tell that story and kind of already have a fan base associated. So I just thought that it was such a good show. I feel like it's so hard to pick which one's best. It's kind of all part of the same story, all part of the same universe. I feel like if I was ever going to go back and rewatch it, you have to watch them both.
Yeah,
I heard
what me and my wife. Sorry, Efren. What me and my wife tend to do is we'll blitz a series. So that's what we did with Game of Thrones. So at some point we'll probably sit down and watch it, and just that'll be a couple of months worth of viewing, and an hour a night or whatever. Sorry, Efren. What were you saying?
I've heard rumors, but I don't know if it's true. But the character Gus Fring, the actor's last name is Esposito. I forgot his first name. He's
Giancarlo.
Yeah, he's saying there may be a new show with him. Just how his path went along. Everybody knows what happened to him at the end. Have seen Breaking Bad, but this is he may have like his early years, how he became more his character.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hector's saying, has anyone watched Dave Stevens' documentary yet? I haven't. No. Any of you guys?
No.
No. Afraid not, mate. Afraid not. Fuzzy, he doesn't like drugs. He'd hate it. Have you got to be a drug fan to watch Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Yeah. You've got to like hard drugs, have you?
Yeah. You have to watch drugs while you watch it, or it's no good. You don't understand.
You watch drugs while you watch it.
You watch drugs while you snort. Breaking Bad.
Yes. Has anybody seen Rebel Moon Part 2?
That came out like today, didn't it?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the fucking director. I don't want to watch it if it's like shit compared to the actual version, so I want to wait for that. But why?
The only thing I saw about it was at like 12% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Drastically dropping. I don't think it's been well received.
It's a shame.
First one was all right.
I still have stuff. The director's cut. Just waiting for that. So whenever
it's been announced. He said next year. Didn't he?
I would have assumed they would have put the director's cut for 1 out before 2 came out. So like,
who knows? Yeah. Anyway, guys, want to end with a bit of a chat about remarks and sketch covers. So I hope everybody watched the Killer Comic Show on Thursday night. We did our usual Are My Eyes section where we'll look at poor covers, and we talked a little bit about this sketch cover, and we're going to talk on this one again in a little bit, and it got us to thinking a little bit about the differences between remarks, sketch covers, and all that kind of stuff. Everyone's just disappeared, but basically just to let people know, if you're not aware, sketch cover tends to be where people have spent a bit more time doing the artwork on it. It might be a bit more time involved in it, and it tends to be a bit more pricey. But you can get things called remarks, which are supposed to be just a kind of a very quick little mini sketch, which is what you see on the cover there, and they absolutely vary in terms of quality and price. And I wanted to chat a little bit tonight about some of those. Some of the guys have got some they want to show off, some different bits and bobs. I've got some to show off as well. But just to give people a bit of an idea of the gambit you run with these. I've had some great remarks, but I've also had some pretty naff ones. Okay, so we'll start off with this. We'll start off with ones that we absolutely love, and ones that we think look pretty cool. Just before we do that, Kenneth, I like all comic books that's independence. Barbara DC Comics, and any of the comic books that are out in the market. I always love them, and plus I can't read them all, but I always collect them. Yeah, good stuff, Kenneth. It's nice to have a good varied collection, isn't it? Okay, Efren, have you got some nice comic sketches, remarks there you want to show with?
Yeah, I took some of them out. You might have seen some of these before, Peter. This is by Livio Ramondelli, who we had on our channels this week that just went by. This is the Killer Droids from Star Wars.
Look at that. That's amazing.
That is awesome.
He was
That's
a lovely guy.
So good, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So he drew this for me, and a couple more. And this one I had done at Comic-Con, back in 2016. This is by an artist named Jose Varisi. I asked him to do a X-23, but like as a cyborg.
Yeah.
So I can't get it. Let me see if I get this
right. Look at the detail on that.
Yeah.
That's stunning. Absolutely stunning, mate. Beautiful.
This is by Adi Granov. This is also at Comic-Con a couple years ago. I asked him to do a old school Wasp.
Stunning.
Nice.
So they're what you'd class as sketch covers, aren't they? Not
Yes.
remarks. As
These
such.
are classic sketch covers. Obviously a sketch cover, the cover's blank,
Yeah.
so it has a certain texture to it. And artists have told me there's some books that they don't like because of the texture. It's harder for them to draw on it.
Yeah,
But
I've had a few
so
of
I
those.
have two more, and this is also by Livio. He did the Iron Man one for me that I showed earlier this week.
Wow, amazing.
And the last one is I have two more. And these are examples of Remarques.
So sorry, Ephraim, just before you move on to the remarks, and so just for people to know, a sketch cover, when you go to an artist and you ask for a sketch cover, there's normally 3 different levels in terms of pricing. So
Yes.
you'll normally get just a head sketch, or then you'll get a bust, which is obviously from the waist up, and you get the character's arms and if they've got a shield or a hammer or whatever, or then you can get the full character sketch, and each of those are a different price point. So yeah, whereas a remark, it's normally a much cheaper point. Normally over here, I don't know it's like for you, but normally under £100 here
Yeah.
for us, and it's a very quick hand sketch.
So the Killer Droid one that I had done by Livio, I sent it to his house. So, he had more time to draw on, and you can tell the difference, This is an example of a remark. This is done by Andy Kubert. It's Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. You can see the remark he did right here at the bottom.
Yeah, that's very cool.
See, it's nice out of the way. Like it's not taking up over any of the main art. Good placements.
Yeah, I think when you drop off for a remark, you tell them you want one, but you're not there standing over their shoulder looking at what they're doing. You walk away.
Yeah, you
And
just
then when they
trust
come
them
back, they do it. So this last one is the very first remark I ever had. I had no idea what remarks were. This guy asked me, "You want him to put a remark on it?" I'm going, "What's a remark?" This was done years ago, over 10 years ago. I've had this book. It's a big one. It's Incredible Hulk. You see the remark right there?
Yeah.
Wolverine, done by Herb Trimpe.
Wow.
It's
That's
a
impressive.
7.5.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Show out the big one at the end. And you see Mr. Stan Lee right there, his signature too.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that? I'm joking.
Stan?
Yeah, that's
Never heard of him?
that's an amazing book to have. Second appearance of Wolverine, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a stunning one, Bean. Stunning, Ephraim. Luke, did you have some you wanted to show off?
I sure do. So I was actually making a very similar video when you first actually came up with this idea for tonight. So I have a load of stuff on my desk, but I'm only going to show a few items because I've got to keep these fans coming back to my videos to see what I've got. Please. So my first one, I think I showed this once before. It's a Planet of the Apes sketch. This is done by a man named Dave Caster.
Nice.
Absolutely love Planet of the Apes, as you guys know, and I found this on eBay, which I think was for a very reasonable price of like £80 odd, like after you convert it. Comes with a certificate of authenticity and everything else, so that was nice. And then I've got I've got this one by Lee Bradley. So this is very much a homage to the Walking Dead issue 1, but with Gizmo in place of the Rick Grimes character and the gremlins in the place of the zombies being reflected in the glass.
Very cool.
And so they're the two sketch covers that I would show you. But my favorite sketch cover piece or artwork that I've ever had is this one by Charlie Adlard. And it's across 2 books to give us Michonne from The Walking Dead as well as her 2 pet zombies. So that's probably my favorite out of all the different sketches that I've had done. And I've had a lot. I tend to always venture towards Artist Alley for all conventions. Like getting sketches is like my favorite thing to do at an event. Moving on to Remarques. I've got this one by Kevin Eastman. So he's drawn me a Splinter down in the corner. Then I've got this one's it is a Remarque, but it's on a blank cover.
Yeah.
So this is by Stan Sakai, and this is Usagi Yojimbo. And then finally, one that I've shown many times before is my Secret Wars Remarque by Mr. Zek turning Spider-Man into Venom.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that one. I like how that's done. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Luke. James, did you have anything you wanted to show off?
Couldn't find him.
Not really.
So I won an amazing sketch cover from, I can't remember the artist's name, but it was a Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock, on the Comics Clearing Cancer auction.
Yeah.
I one of them. I have a Charlie Adlard, but it's not on a sketch cover because I always forget to bring them to conventions. And then at the at Thought Bubble, I couldn't fucking find anyone like selling just blank covers, you know. I think that's all in terms of sketch covers. I have a couple of signatures. I have a couple of Tinian signed things, and my Momoko now I have as well. So
Good stuff. Good stuff, James. Thank you. Okay, guys. So we're going to talk a little bit about the difference. I mean, we've talked a little bit about the difference between a sketch and a remark. I'm going to show you off a couple of mine. I'm not showing you my wig sketch covers and stuff like that. If you want to check out more about sketch covers, check out me and Ephraim. We've done 2 videos, I think, Ephraim.
Yeah.
Where we've talked about with sketch covers. In much like Luke, I've got a video coming out where I'm showing off all of my sketches as well. And me and Ephraim are doing another live show, hopefully, about it. But I wanted to show off a couple and see whether you think this is a sketch or a remark. So I paid nothing for this, and this was done in front of us for about 10 minutes, I think. And this is good old Charlie Adlard. And that's a Daredevil. So that was absolutely free. Now, would you class that as a sketch cover or a remark?
I'd call that a sketch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you're probably right, James.
it's too big. It's big. Like,
Yeah. So that's
So when Charlie does remarks, they don't have any form of shading on them whatsoever. It is literally just a very quick hand drawn, and I've got a few of them like that where he's been in a rush. With Charlie, it's very much how long the queue is and how much time he's willing to give you. But for the most part, he wants everyone to walk away with a proper sketch. So
I want to show an example because we're going to talk about some poor remarks. I want to show an example of what I think is a good remark. This is by John Cassidy, and it's Captain America. You can just see him in the top corner there.
Oh, nice.
that's
Nice.
really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a very cool little remark there. And that's kind of what I would class as your classic remark. Just probably done at a convention, a very, very quick little, not take them long, but just a nice looking little remark. I like that one. This is what I would class as a really good remark done by a guy called Gillen Marsh. And that is Batman. The bottom
nice.
corner there. And again, that was free. Took him minutes to do. He also did as a Joker on a poster that he did. All I would say is if you are getting these remarks done, guys, at conventions, just be very aware of what they're using. So Gillen uses kind of paint pens. And there was a couple of guys I saw sliding the books straight into the old packets here, and it was just smudging straight up. So I spent about 10 minutes standing just blowing on this in the corner of the convention. So yeah, that's very cool, very cool. I've got to mention these as well because the more I've looked at these, the more they've grown on us, I have to say. And I was very dismissive of them about them initially, but these were by Martin Simmons. These cost us under £100, and I did moan about them at the time, and they didn't have blood splatter on and stuff like that. But the more I've looked at them, the more I'm quite happy with the detail he's put into the faces. I think I'd still rather have probably getting a full sketch done by him.
Well, that's the thing. You actually technically asked for one because you pointed at someone else's thing that they were handed that looks amazing and said, "I want that."
Yeah.
So he didn't do that, you know. So when you got it back, you were a bit like, "Oh," but if that was a cover A, and that was in the corner, you'd be like, "Oh, that looks really good."
Yeah.
You know, so
Yes,
it's just because it's a
absolutely.
blank. You were hoping it was a full
Absolutely,
picture. you know.
James. So I think it's fair to say that for remarks, you can get some really, really fantastic ones. And there's a few here that I just wanted to show out. John Boy Myers does amazing remarks, absolutely amazing. He's done Invincible there and Omni-Man, and they look absolutely phenomenal. Bagley doing a bit of a head sketch there, looks incredible. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I've not seen these before. These are remarks and signatures directly onto the CGC slab. So they're not actually on the book themselves, they're on the plastic of the slab. Is that something you guys would get done?
I've seen it before, but I would like, to me, if I had a signature on there or whatever, I was like the yellow labels. I prefer that. But I've seen these before, you know. So I mean, it saves you on money, you know.
Well, you are supposed to replace the slab after a certain amount of time, aren't you? So that's an issue, you know, itself. Slabs can break, so that's another problem as well. They're more fragile. But I think like for example, you know, if you have like a historical book, like a first appearance from like the 40s, 50s, 60s, I wouldn't want a remark on that or anything, you know, or a signature. I think that should be on its own. So like, yeah, if it was the first Spider-Man, you want to get a sketch on the slab. Like I think that's cool. You know, don't get on the comic.
Yeah. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, I had this exact same thought process in regards to my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles book, where I'm not sure if I want to break the slab open or not. So it was one of the options, probably the option that I'm least likely to take, but it was still one of the options that I had considered.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
One thing we didn't talk about, and to me, you know, sometimes we pay good money to get a signature. I'd like to be able to read the signature. I mean, Liefeld's signature on the X-Force, you can't even read his name on there, you know. And I've seen other artists, they just scribble, and to them that's it. You know, I just don't like that. You know.
I mean, that's a great topic for a show, Ephraim, because you're right. I've got things that I've had done at conventions or picked up things now where I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, I'm not actually sure who signed that. I cannot work out what the signature is. And also there's something about signature placement, which we'll definitely could touch on. James, I know you've got a story about signature placement.
Well, I just on one thing, a pet peeve of mine, because I have a couple of signatures here just of like random items, because I thought we were going to be talking about that. But using dark marker on dark covers really annoys me. So I have an Uncharted 4 signed by the actor, and you can see it in this light, but when you actually look at it, it's fucking really hard to make out, because he used black marker on a black, like a really dark cover. So that pisses me off to no end, you know. So I hate that. I also hate when the image is like upright but the signature is sideways. So I have like a Jamie Lannister one here. So the signature would be that, like that's how he wrote it across. Right. But it's
that doesn't. I don't.
It's still a nice looking one, but like I you know, I would rather do it the other way. So, and then if you want to talk about signature placement, yeah, we'll get into that another time. But
do another one of those because that's an interesting. Chris is just saying here. Surely you would mean you have to bag the slab for protection. I'd be like, you ruined my slab page. Chris, I hate to break it to you, but I bag all of my slabs. All of my slabs are in plastic bags as well, just because I'm that kind of sad. So yeah, you can get some very, very good remarks. These are a few that Fuzzy sent in, which I think are just mind-blowingly good. I think that Lego Brickman just looks amazing, absolutely amazing.
It's the white, the light shining off. I think it just looks so good. Yeah.
It looks stunning. Absolutely stunning.
The She-Hulk is great,
really
I think.
Good ones. The She-Hulk is amazing. The Wolverine's amazing. I think they're really good examples of some excellent remarks. But they don't always go your way, and I think sometimes they can be pretty disappointing. I'll just show you a couple of mine before we move on. I should have showed this one before. I think that's actually quite good. I quite like that one. But you can see that's Green Arrow, can't you? Yeah, that's not a bad one. I got these, and these are by Ivan Tew, and it's Ice Cream Man, and it's all right, but it doesn't necessarily jump out as Ice Cream Man to us. I think that one's even worse. I think it's sometimes just the placement on the cover.
That's the wrong spot there.
You know, and then you get like that, which is just, I don't know, an ice cream, I suppose, with a weird tongue.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think you've got to accept that if you're getting a remark, you are getting a very quick sketch, but sometimes these quick sketches really are dog shit. Now, Mark Bagley has always been one of my favourite artists. Always been one of my favourite. I think he does the best version of Venom you've ever. I think the best version of Venom out there. But then you look at his remarks, and James, I think your comment about the colour of ink is spot on. So that's actually a really good Spider-Man head sketch, I think, the far left one there. But because of the colour of the cover, and the silver ink, it's practically, it's hard to see what it actually is. I think that centre one, I think, is unforgivable.
Oh, did he just not finish it?
I think that centre one it's meant to be Spider-Boy. It's the wrong colour for a start. It's bright orange. He's a blue character, isn't he? and then he's half finished it, so he hasn't done the mouth. So I don't understand what the hell he was doing there. And then that last one again is a Carnage sketch, which is really kind of hard to work out and see what the hell is going on, really. But I think I've not done enough digging into this, but from what I've read, if you get Bagley at a convention or somewhere like that, he puts a bit of effort into it. Some of these ones are from the CGC mail-in ones, where you can pay for your sketch at CGC, and I wonder if he's kind of not getting the same fee, or if he's half-arsing them, or if it's
they
the
just want to rush
volume.
him through, right? Because
Yeah,
there's so
it's
much
the
volume.
he's doing. So yeah, I mean, would you guys be happy with those if you'd paid money for them?
Absolutely not. I'd be fuming. I'd almost want a refund.
So you know what? That first one, I would be happy if that was on a blank cover.
Absolutely.
And again, I feel like I don't think it's always necessarily the artist's fault. Again, with signature placement, like we can go in and we can bag and board it, and we can do a cutout window, and we can get it where we want it. You can provide them the pen. Like there are things that you can do when you're there. Sometimes accidents do happen. Sometimes they're just off doing it themselves, But there are things that you can put in place if you're there, and if you're talking to them and you explain what you want. 9 times out of 10, they do take your request.
So that's a great point, Luke. And again, I think it's that kind of face-to-face value, because I was reading on the CGC boards when I was looking into this and stuff. And this is about signature placement as well as image placement. For the CGC ones, you can go to all the trouble of doing the window bag and all the rest of it. Quite often they're just taking out the bag and hand it to the artist, and they just do it wherever they want anyway. So there's a number of examples where people have just written and drawn in completely the wrong area, because I think as Chris is saying, I think it's just a conveyor belt. I think it's just book, and they just quickly do whatever they can do. But yeah, I would be pretty irritated if I got something like that back. A couple of other examples here. Again, it's the pink Spider-Man head looks great, probably on a white sketch cover, but over Venom's head there, it's just. Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. Fuzzy sent this one in, and Fuzzy, I don't quite know what I think of this, mate. I don't know if I like that or not, of the white queen holding the Starbucks cup. What did you guys think of that one?
I'd be fuming. I think he would have ruined a really nice piece, I'm
sure Alex Ross is loving that. He's thinking,
it depends if the person asked for it.
Yeah. It's funny because I was at a Sean James gig, and I had a poster for them to sign, and Sean, it's of his face, it's like a side profile thing, and he drew sunglasses, and they were drawing bunny ears on each other and stuff, but it was a nice kind of because it's them, whereas this is I wouldn't be happy at all. It's just nothing to do with X-Men or the White Queen or anything at all.
Efren, Luke, would you guys be happy if you got that back, if you hadn't asked for it? I think you're right, Luke. I think if you've asked for that because you think it's funny, fair enough. But if that was the remark they gave you, you sent for a remark.
Well, if you asked for it, then the person who whose is this? Is this Fuzzy's?
No. These are just ones he's found on the internet.
Okay, I mean, if they asked for it, then perfect. That's what they wanted. No complaints there. But if you said draw something, but that's your fault if you just say draw something and draws that.
Yeah, if you give them the option, I guess.
Yeah.
Just Fuzzy saying here, he remembers an interview with McFarlane. He did 1,500 a day at a CGC signing. Tidiness has to come out.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's just criminal, really, isn't it? Didn't Todd McFarlane change his signature as well? Because he used to write out his full name, didn't he?
T. McFarlane now, isn't it? Yeah, I remember Kevin from Superpower Review was hates T. McFarlane. And he won't get a thing if it says it.
Starbucks is tremendous. Starbucks is criminal. That's class. Interesting.
So, Peter, I've got one more that I'd like to show. It doesn't necessarily fall into the good or bad category, but it's just something that I wanted to mention, because this is one where I want to say you listen to the artist, because they know better. Because I took this book absolutely adamant that this is what I wanted. And at the time, he kind of looked at me and went, "Really? It's not going to look as good?" And I went, yeah, it'll be fine. Since then, I've come to kind of hate it, and I've actually rebought the book just to have another copy of it. Right. It's in no way bad, but he did warn me. So therefore, I'm just saying, listen to the artist. They know what they're talking
Yeah.
about. And it's my Walking Dead sketch here. So on camera, it doesn't look too bad, but in person, this kind of reverse of colors, this image, like this doesn't look as good as the same picture being drawn on a white cover.
Yeah.
You know, with black ink. Like it just doesn't. When you look at them side by side, it really doesn't work. And again, on camera now, it doesn't look as bad as it does in person. But all of this is just so washed out. You know, you can't, compared to the other drawings, it's not even a comparison. Right?
Yeah.
I know it's by different artists, but it's just one of those things of if the artist says, "Oh, are you sure?" Maybe you should double think it.
Yeah, because I mean, they're the experts. They know what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of hope that they'll guide you correctly, I guess. Chris is saying, in fairness, though, a remark is meant to be a scribble pretty much. So I think it's always going to be down to the artist's effort level, but only any old scribble counts, which is why I avoid them. Yeah, Chris. I mean, I went in Thought Bubble the first year. I got that Gillen Marsh one I just showed and thought, wow, why am I paying a load of money for sketches when I can get really good remarks like that? So the next year when we went back, I thought, oh, I'll just get remarks, and I regretted it. I wish I'd gotten the sketch covers. Now, King of Art, one of the most famous artists out there, also lends his hand to some of his famous characters, and he does some interesting remarks. So I'm interested to know what you guys think of these. We'll start off with his renditions of good old Wolverine. Frank Miller. What do you think of those? Do you like them?
No.
Efren, you like the...
I like the one on the right a little bit, you know. But I remember, you got to remember, I remember Rob Liefeld talked about this, but a lot of people were complaining about his artwork. Frank Miller's an older gentleman.
Yes.
So when he draws, his drawing is not as good as it used to be, you know. But I mean, it is what it is. But I kind of like the one on the left, though. I mean,
the white page.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I suppose it's hard to do, like, you know, it's not like Spider-Man where it's just a little mask and you can do a quick thing. This is like, you know, a quick sketch of Wolverine. Like, there's not, you know.
I mean, I
do.
I don't think I would be paying for a Frank Miller sketch if I thought it was gonna come out like that. I have to be honest.
I mean, this is the other thing, right? We have to know whether or not these were paid for or not, because even that Michonne Walking Dead double one that I had, like, I didn't even pay for that. Like, it was literally a case of just queuing up and getting given it.
These were
Frank
paid
Miller
for.
doesn't do it for free.
£75 a signature, so I'm imagining these were 100.
See, that's where the upset really comes in, doesn't it? Because when it's for free, you go, oh, it is what it is. Maybe you ruin a beloved book. You know, that's worst case scenario. But then that's when the blank sketches come in.
Absolutely. And his art style is very unique, and some people love it, some people hate it. I personally am not a fan. His Poison Ivy there, I think, is the stuff of nightmares. That's but some people like that style, you know, and that's a cover that's cost £300-400. Someone's paid for that. I do like the Spawn mind. I think that's interesting because that's obviously Spawn's, the white element of Spawn's mask, isn't it?
I have
Is
no
that
idea.
just like one eye?
Well, yeah, because it's a sideways view, I think, is it?
No, I thought it was like a front view of half of it.
I'm just trying to make heads or tails of what it is. I can't even look. I don't even know what the heck that is.
My head hurts now. I'm getting a headache looking at it. What is it?
Yeah, Fuzzy's saying one day we'll wake up and Frank won't be here. Love him while he's here. He's a legend. He is a legend. He is a legend. In fairness, they did ask for Wolverine with Botox overload and facial. I mean, I think that Poison Ivy. I remember at the time.
Look at the jawline. Look at it looks like she's got she's no eyes. It looks like she's got like a stubble, you know?
Well, I remember at the time the guy who got this was very vocal about it on some of the Facebook groups, and he'd paid a lot of money for this because Frank Miller sketches, proper sketches, are a lot of money, you know, and he was pretty upset. But then people were saying, as you know, everyone's entitled to their opinions, and people were saying, you ask for a Frank Miller sketch, you kind of know what you're getting these days. So what did you expect to get? Yeah, not a fan. This one, horrendous. So
I can't even see what it is. Like,
so neither can the person that bought it. So the person that bought it says he he doesn't actually know what Frank drew. He doesn't know what that is in the middle.
That looks like scribble. Sorry to say.
I can't work out what it's meant to be.
bad
I have to
placement.
be
Like,
honest.
it's,
Fuzzy, to be honest, Phil's seat on the art show is at risk here. Get in touch. Is that Ivy sketch done by FM? Yeah, it is, mate. It is. Hey, you got a picture of my girlfriend? Yeah, and she's good one, Kenneth. Daredevil dreams. I mean, I've spent a lot of time today trying to work out what it is I'm looking at. I looked at the label to see if it says, because you know sometimes they'll say sketch of whatever. It doesn't. It just says sketch. I don't know if that's the norm or whatever. But then I found on the CGC message boards, the guy who actually got this, and he's saying he doesn't know what it is, which I don't know.
it's probably a side profile of Daredevil or something, but it's just so like you have the black lines of Daredevil on the actual book. You can't, it all just blends together.
It's probably like one of those images that when someone says what it is and gives you a focal point, it all of a sudden it makes sense and you can see the image.
Yeah.
Luke, you're not convinced.
It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, it's not a good one. It's not a good one.
You look at it this way, it's a rabbit. You look at it this way, it's a duck.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Chris says he thinks it's Daredevil. That's all I wanted to talk about Remarques. I guess I just wanted to mention it and just kind of give people a little bit of an understanding of what the difference between a remark and a sketch is, and that you do, I think. And Efren, you guys buy a lot of sketches, so I'm interested in your thoughts. But I do think you run the risk, if you're not there face to face with the artist, you run the risk of just getting a quick remark, because there literally can be a variant of quality. You know, there really can be very, very different. Chris is saying head to ear. I still don't know, Chris. I still don't get it, mate.
Oh,
What's
hang
the
on.
squiggly bits?
Are those like letters on the side of his head too? It looks like an S. Or is that part of his ear? I don't know. God.
Head to ear. There is that like an eye there above the ear? Is that like shading of an eye?
It looks like it could be or underneath if it's a side profile.
And then that comes out as a
face.
nose beneath there, maybe.
You know what? I think I see it now too. Right on the. No, seriously, this looks like his eye. I was gonna.
We're gonna solve this. This is gonna be it's the sketch of
above
Electra, isn't it? That's her hair.
Yeah.
Right above his ear, it looks like an eye,
Yeah.
and it looks like it's closing like over his.
I'm telling you,
eye looks like it's a mouth right there.
it's Electra. That's her bandana up the top. This is her hair coming down.
Yes, I think I see it too now.
Don't bullshit, guys.
No.
Seriously.
Top of the
right
ear.
next to his ear.
I hear what you're saying, and I can see the eye, I can see the bandana on the hair. But my
don't get me
brain-
wrong, it still
my
looks
brain is-
shit.
No, my brain is
Yeah.
focusing now on a nose looking like Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
That's just got two big round snouts.
Right on the back of his skull, looks like it's.
But that's
like,
because
like lines
of the
across the
Daredevil
head,
image.
forehead.
That's the black from the Daredevil image being part of, like, making up part of this.
Can't see Anne, man.
I think I see it too.
Can't see shit.
We've solved it. We've solved it.
Get
In
on
this
those
case, I'll get a
forums
sketch
and
on
tell
the slab
people
right on
this
top
is
of-
genius.
Efren, what's your advice? Because you get a lot of sketches and you communicate with a lot of artists. What would be your advice for people who are wanting to get a bit of original artwork?
Well, I mean, Luke says he likes, hanging out at Artist Alley, and so do I. I like walking through the alleys and looking. I stop and look at the artwork, and they always have like commissions right next to them too, like examples of their artwork. That's the first thing I would go with, and then obviously they have their pricing, and just talk to them of what you want. I go, hey, like when I did the Iron Man one, I go, can I get old school Iron Man? But I know Livio, I've had other commissions done by him. And he did this in less than half an hour because I walked by like on a Sunday and he was just starting it. And then I came back later on that day and he was done. So they don't really take their time. And you got to remember, I'm not the only one asking for a commission. they can do, I think, between 5 and 10 a day. So they have to, do it quickly. But just look at the artwork. I mean, and see if you like it. I've seen some commissions done by J. Scott Campbell, and they look like his regular covers, but you can tell it's a commission. They have to do it quick.
Yeah.
It's a quick turnaround time. But I mean, just look at the artist. And I have some commissions done by John Boy Myers. I think that's his last name. He does great work too.
Yeah. And I think you're right, Efren. I think for me, if there's a particular artist that I know I want to get a commission from, I'm inclined. So, for example, Alex Cormack, who I love his work.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to be at Thought Bubble, but I contacted him before the convention because of exactly that fact. I don't want someone rushing a sketch necessarily at the con. So if they have that opportunity to say, will you do as a sketch and I'll pick it up from you at the con, or I'll leave the book with you and I'll get it when you've done it kind of thing, that feels a bit more comfortable to me than the Martin Simmons one. I'm convinced, and I know what James thinks, but I'm convinced that basically he just ran out of time.
100%. I think
I kept
'cause
going
he
back to
didn't
him,
spray
he's like,
the
I'm
Dracula one like he
Yeah.
sprayed the other one. He didn't spray the Dracula one with
Yeah.
the pen. So yeah, I think he was rushing at the end of the day.
Anyone wants to say before we move on?
I was just gonna say, don't be scared to go up to these artist alley booths and just, like Efren says, look through their artwork, but also make them offers for that artwork that's there as well. Because for a lot of the time, they will sell you that. Not all the time, but I've bought several pieces. That way, you don't have to explain what you want or anything else. You literally see a piece that you like. You know it's original. You know it's there. Obviously, make sure it is an original and not just a print, because that also happens sometimes. But you can get some really nice artwork at a really decent price. And much like buying comic books, you can haggle. This is stuff that they've already invested the time.
You can
I think
haggle?
that's a fantastic point.
I've never haggled at an artist.
I always haggle. Always.
I think that's a fantastic point, but look, because I go to conventions and I quite often went with the mindset of, I want to get something from the con that's personal or whatever. But you're right, when I was flicking through Alex Cormack's file on the day, it was amazing. And I could just pick straight up instead of waiting around. You knew it was an original piece of work. It was really, really stunning stuff. It must be strange, though, to get a unique sketch and say, that's nice, then put it in a box with the other 200 sketchbooks. That's true. And it's that old adage in it, Chris, of how do you display this stuff? So I've got a lot of prints and things like that, and I don't have the wall space for it. So
mine are all up on the wall. I have them all framed up and up on the wall. I have to take them down.
I tend to lean towards getting them slabbed, and then at least I know where I've got them in the handy. Oh, got Austin. Nice to see you, Austin. I hope you're well, bud. James, you're about to say something?
No, I was just gonna ask Luke what's that hard case thing you have, the Planet of the Apes comic in?
I think I've got one here, still with the packet still on it. Just a prestige protection. I found it on eBay. They're like 20 quid each. Sorry, less than that. I think I paid like £11 something for them.
Right.
Hard case, a clip-on hard case.
Yeah, they're like magnetic.
Yeah.
Like to slab it yourself, basically.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah,
I'll send you the link. Peter, your Simon sketches, would you take them back and get them added to?
I said that's what I said. Go say make this into a sketch.
What I want to do, probably with the Dracula one, is you'll know that classic. Is it the Beatles album cover?
Queen.
Not Beatles. Queen. The Queen album cover with all the heads. Yeah. So I'm going to ask him to do as a Wolfman, a bat. The various versions of Batman in the same kind of style as
of Dracula.
Dracula.
Yeah.
I guess he is Batman, to be fair.
Yeah. But what I mean is because he turns into a bat, so like a bat creature, a wolf man, and something else in there. Yeah. But I'll not pay for Remarques. I'll pay for a proper sketch cover in that style and see what he says.
So he'll do a whole background and stuff for it and everything. Yeah.
Hope so. If he's there next year, I'm hoping he is. He's managed by Scott's Collectibles, so if he's not at Thought Bubble, I'll just get in touch with them and say, look, that's what I want.
I love his style, so I would be tempted to get. How much do you remember? How much the actual sketch was?
About 300, I think.
Yeah,
I'd want the creature from the Black Lagoon.
That's I'd go and say something like random. I remember we were there and I was like, I want to see what his Frankenstein looks like. Like, what would you do for that? Or I might do Or maybe do me a Jerry Dandridge, you know? Like, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Ephraim, you were saying?
Every time you go see an artist, usually the pricing here is between like $200 to $500. It depends on the artist. I just want to say one thing. Every time I see Jim Lee's prices, I just think it's so ridiculous and over the top.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has his reasons for it, and I'm sure he's going to be sold out because it seems like every time it is sold out, but those prices are just ridiculous.
Thousands, isn't it?
It just bothers me. I go, come on, dude.
I think they do it to put a lot of people off, because if not, everyone would want one.
Yeah.
And then they have to.
I think that's spot on.
It would take up all of their time. Like there's like you say, there's only so much time over a weekend or over a day to be able to do everything.
He just has a cut off. He just says he does 5.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite artists is Todd Knock. I have a bunch of his commissions too. He does really good work, and he says, I have a cutoff. And I go, okay, that's fair. And his prices are normally ranged, because I can't do them all that you want, so I just take like 10 a day and that's it, So I don't know. It just bothers me,
Chris is probably right here as well. His reasons are the sell. As soon as they don't, they'll become cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people are paying ridiculous money for
I know.
Okay, guys, we're getting to the end of the show, so we'll do a giveaway for everybody that's stuck with us. So thank you so much to everybody that's still here in the chat. And we're going to do #Helldiver. So please stick that
freedom.
Stick that in the comments, and we will give away some comic books. So you've got a couple of minutes to do that whilst we'll rattle through what's coming on. Oh, why have I just entered the competition?
That was
Who's
me.
entered the competition?
That was me doing it on your behalf.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. Yeah. So yeah, #Helldiver.
I was just letting the fans know what the word was.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
That's exactly.
Does Silvestri do many sketches? I'm not sure. Ephraim, do you know that?
I don't see him at conventions, to be honest with you. So no, nothing I know of. I would love to have gotten one from John Byrne. He does some in his years ago. I checked out his site, and they're expensive too,
Yeah. Do you know what? I know he doesn't do them. I don't think he does them. I've never seen him at any cons, but I would kill for an Alex Ross commissioned piece.
Oh, he's never at a convention. Every year at Comic-Con, he's got a big booth at San Diego Comic-Con, but he's never there.
I can't remember who told us. I don't know if it was you or if it was one of the other guys I was chatting with, and they said that the times he is at conventions, he's like flanked by security. He's got a lot of kind of people around him, and general fans can't get near him.
That's weird.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, guys. #Helldiver. You just need to stick it in once. You only get once entered into it. So stick it in, #Helldiver, and we'll give away some books in a moment. Right, chaps, just want to mention a few things that are happening on my channel. So you can see me over on Instagram, YouTube, and all that kind of stuff over at Triple G Comics. I've done a couple of videos recently. We've got I Can View This All Day on the X-Men cartoon. That was the precursor to X-Men, the animated series. Absolutely brilliant cartoon. The music in particular is stunning. So me and James reviewed that. Please do check that out. It's only 6 or 7 minutes.
X-Men, this is the day. This is the day.
Worth checking that out. I did a quick short video on the Ironheart TV series because we've heard very little about that. Don't know really what's going on with it. It was supposed to be out a year or two ago. So if you're interested in Ironheart, check that out. And as well as the live show where we talked all kinds of stuff, I've done a little video about some of the free gifts that Diamond Toys sent us. So again, check that out, please. Tomorrow, I've got a video coming out about the Nacellverse, which is out now. The books are starting to hit the shelves, and Nacellverse 0 came out a few weeks ago. So this is just a little bit of background about what the Nacellverse is and what properties it's going to be covering. So check that out as well. Killer Comic Show every Thursday with the gang. We'll do comic book reviews, all kinds of geeky nerd chat. We'll do favourite covers, and we'll do worst covers now as well. So again, please check that out every Thursday at 9 o'clock. We've also got good old One Good Scare, which is mine and James' other channel, which is going from strength to strength. The sub count on that has gone crazy, so really, really pleased with that. James, tell them a little bit about this one.
Yes, we had One Good Scare live last Friday, so we talked about the Maxine trailer, Velma season 2. There was actually, funny enough, because I said on the show, oh, there's no trailer. There was a trailer that came out. We just didn't see it. But I watched it, and it was like we wouldn't have even remembered anything that happened in it by the time we got to the show, so it didn't really matter. What else? We talked about... What was the main topic again? Not spoos.
It was only
Twists.
last night.
Plot twists in movies.
Plot twists.
Yes, we talked about that. We talked about some other spooky news. A little bit of spoiler free First Omen talk as well. So yeah, it was a good time.
Worth checking out. And then we've got this coming out soon.
We got I'll Be Right
I
Back.
bought this today on DVD.
Man, I have it on the Google Drive. You could have just watched it there instead.
Quid, I'm not going to get back then.
There you go. That's great. You'll want to watch it over and over. So we're doing I'll Be Right Back on Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. So that'll be out on Friday. So I'm very excited. And then we will have an Abigail spoiler review, I would think, on Monday probably.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff.
very excited for that.
Good stuff. Efren, what's happening over on Past Point Comics?
Monday, I'm finally going to do another. I do my own version of Peter's show on Saturday, but I call it comic. I forgot the heck what I call it now. So
Comic Talk, isn't it? Is it
that's not comic talk. I forgot what I call it. Comic culture.
Comic Culture.
So I'm just going to be talking about movies, TV shows, comic books. We throw a little bit of sports in there. It's on I try to do it once a month, but I'm doing it like every 2 months now. But I'm doing another show on Monday at 8 p.m. on my channel, and then pretty soon Peter and I are going to be in. Yeah, thanks, Fuzzy. Pretty soon Peter and I are going to be interviewing writer David Pepos.
Looking forward to that.
That will be on both our channels at the same time.
Yeah. We'll
so
do the same thing.
cool. Yeah.
Because we interviewed somebody last week, this week, didn't we? And that was fantastic. So tell a little bit
artist
about it, Efren.
Livio Ramondelli, we interviewed him. It was a good interview. Yeah, he had a good time. So good time.
And then we'll have the interview probably back end of May with Patrick, the writer of Beneath the Trees, coming up as well.
Nice.
So lots of interviews going on, and also I've forgotten the names of the writer and the artist, Ethan. The team behind my brain's gone blank. Kill Your Darlings, being in touch.
One more thing, Peter. Sorry, if anybody's interested, this Thursday I'm going to Star Wars Night at Disneyland. So I'll be broadcasting live on Instagram. I know you guys probably be asleep by the time I get on live, but I'll be showing some clips from there, on IG Live.
Fantastic. Look forward to that. Always enjoy those.
Yeah.
Luke, what have you got coming up?
Absolutely nothing. Unfortunately, I've recorded loads of videos. I just haven't had the time to sit and edit them. I started a new job this week, so finding the time is getting harder and harder. But hopefully, I'll get something edited and thrown up soon.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, guys, let's give away some comic books. Let's just share that. Is that on screen? Yeah. Okie dokie. Good luck, everybody. Let's see who the winner tonight is. Kenneth jumping in.
It'd be funny if you won.
If I won, yeah. I have to give the comics to myself. And the winner is Tragedy Tales. Good stuff, Tragedy Tales. Well done. Next time, Kenneth. Next time, bless you. You've never won yet, have you? Tragedy Tales. Well done, mate. So we'll pick some comics. Luke, tell us when to stop.
Stop.
Front or back?
Front.
Oh, just put this one in. James T.
Stop.
Front or back?
Back 2.
Back 2.
Yeah.
When you put them in, Peter, do you mix them up in the placement, or do you just stick them in the front or the back?
Mix them in all over the place. Efren?
Stop.
Front or back?
Front.
And one from me. Ooh. Boobies. Okay. Right. Oh, that's Luke. Okie dokie. So you have won. Wow. Vampirella versus Purgatory, issue 1. Bit of chestage going on there, bit of thigh-high boots. Nice, like that. We have got, Luke, you like this one. Bit of Alex Ross goodness.
I've got 2 of them.
Yeah. Nice lizard action. And we have got, is that only 2 books? Oh, we need another book. We've got a bit of Psylocke. That's a variant cover for X-Men.
Cool.
It's a bit of a rude set, isn't it? And we've got that one that I just put in recently.
Oh, Campbell.
Very cool.
Campbell Batman book. Very thick book, that square bound book. We'll pick you one more. Ugh. And oh shit. I think this is a minor key. Venom 26. There we go. So Tragedy Tales, stick as a DM. Let us know your address. I think I've sent it you before, but just reminders so I haven't got to go hunting through everything. And send us your address and we'll get those sent out to you straight away. Okie dokie. Right. Thank you very much, everybody. Been great fun as usual tonight. Thank you, chaps, for joining us. Don't forget, guys, if you are interested in joining Helldiver 2, drop us a line on Instagram and you can join our little clan. And we'll play some games together.
For freedom
and with that,
and democracy.
For freedom. And if you really look,
managed democracy.
Keegas will give you a hug at the end of every game.
He won't. He'll shoot you dead and leave you.
He'll shoot you in the face and then leave you so you lose the game. Nice,
compulsory.
thanks.
Yeah, get no XP. Yeah, that's good.
Okie dokie, chaps. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you all next time. Take care. Bye.